Welcome, my friends. This is Maniacal Incorporated, and this is Exogate Initiative, a base builder in the vein of the Evil Genius series, in which we will build a base around a Stargate. There it is in the background, opened up to a far distant planet. We'll send science teams and military personnel through the Stargate to bring back resources for science and for profit. A big thank you to the devs, Xenobits, for sending me on a copy to check out. I have had a lot of fun with this of recent. I've been playing the tutorial. I'm almost 5 hours in. It's effectively a campaign tutorial, and there's still a good chunk that I haven't seen. I'm going to try out, so that would be the initiation recommended for your first game. I'm going to try out free play, and it gives us our options. We have the difficulty. We leave it on challenging, mission frequency on balanced. We have invaders, so we can send things through the Stargate. Things can come back through the Stargate. And here we see one of the worlds that we will never get to see because we're based entirely in the base, but here's our science team, checking out some weird freaks. But before we go sending our science teams out to the weird freaks, we have to get our base up and running first of all. Here is the stairs down, effectively the stairs down. It's a bit of a transport ramp down to an underground facility. Here's some robots. Those little dudes are going to do all the work for us. And like I said, our entire base is built around this facility here, the Stargate. It brings up a star map, and we have a bit of a tutorial as well. So here is the planet that we are on, and here are the neighboring planets, and we can connect up to these and send out science missions to bring back science. There'll also be further out planets that will have XP for our scientists or whoever we send out, and other planets that will have mineral resources that we can bring back. For now, we'd better get the basics up and running. Now, these guys can be upgraded later on to mine through this thicker wall, which we're not going to be able to take out just yet. So down into infrastructure, we have our dig terrain tool. And we'll dig out that to start with. So starting them up, along they'll come. They'll give a couple of whacks at the rocks to break them up. Now, once they have the area completely cleaned out, they're going to start putting down foundations. And once they have that done, we can go back into infrastructure. We'll start with a barracks, and we will tile this entire area as a barracks. And I will also put in a double door, because people will get angry. Well, they won't get angry, they'll get upset if they're in a room and if it doesn't have a door. So now we have our room complete, and we can see that there is a symbol on the floor, and by clicking on that, it gives us the list of items that we can build in this room. I quite like this setup. Instead of having to go back to another menu and try to figure out what we want to put in here. So we have some beds. We'll put in 4 to start with, because I also need to put in, and that's actually going to be a bit of a nuisance, I need to put in lockers as well. Now, we can get rooms later on. Where'll I put these? Down here in this corner. Already made the room a bit too small. I'll be expanding it as time goes on. It's not the very best barracks, but you know what? It will do to start. So they all have a bed, they have their lockers, and later on we can research technology that will allow for the construction of a 2x1 sleeping facility that will incorporate a locker, and then later on a sleeping facility that they can actually stand up in. Now, they can sleep at the moment, but they're going to be pretty hungry. So we will get the mess hall up and running. And while I have them at that, I had better start thinking about probably the most important facility that we have, which is the laboratory. Now, I think the layout here is going to be the exact same from start to start. So this kind of cross layout leading from the stairs down to here, that's going to be pretty much the exact same anytime that you start this game. What is going to be different is the positioning of these unbreakable blocks at the moment. So if we try, I can highlight that area, and as you can see, I cannot mine through here. And if I click again, it will turn that off. What am I doing? The mess hole! And we might as well stick in a door there and there. So as they go off to work on the mess hole, I'm going to turn this into a laboratory. It's probably a bit small, but I don't think we need to worry too much. So what I will do is I'm going to put in 2 dispensers, because what happens is that one of them will run out, and the other one will still have food in it. If we only have the one, they will complain that there's no food. So what's going to happen is that there will be a set amount of food in these dispensers, and when it runs out, an order will be put in, and somebody upstairs will deliver that down to us. But it can take a bit of time, and we'll have people a bit unhappy. Here is our laboratory. So, what do we need from here? We're going to need biosample containment. We will take, to start, might as well put in 4 of them, and a biosample study desk. Now the other things that we have access to here at the moment, we have a research desk, so that's going to allow us to conduct research for pretty much infrastructure for the base. We have our biosample study desk, which is going to study samples that we bring back from the Exogate, and that's going to give us science points, and it's also going to contribute towards patents. It's going to give us technologies that we can patent, and that will bring us in revenue. And that's required predominantly to buy things and to hire staff. And we have a couple of other things. We're going to be expanding this place. This is going to be pretty much the center of our base, the most important place. Now at the moment we have nobody in our base. We have no gators. And to get those, we start a new recruitment campaign for scientists. We also have soldiers, medics, engineers, scholars and diplomats, none of which we can actually access at the moment. And for our recruitment, we need to set the terms of our recruitment campaign. So the higher wages we offer, the more people will show up. The longer duration, the longer it'll be before we actually get to hire anyone, but the more people that can show up, and the more of a budget we put in, we'll push up the budget a bit. Will we push up the wage a bit? Go on, we'll see who it brings into us, and we will start that campaign. So we're going to see up here in the corner, we're on the 20th of the 11th. So it's going to be a couple of days before that campaign actually comes through. These dispensers are telling us that there's no food, and there's an order in progress. So that order will eventually come down the stairs. There are a couple of issues that I've kind of noticed. We're going to see it with some of the people in a minute. They can kind of act in odd fashion, and it's the same here with these things. So we're kind of maybe looking a small bit at the AI is a bit. It could do with a bit of work. Now, the other thing that could do with a bit of work. The energy did not run out this quickly when I was playing the tutorial, and I'm starting to terrify myself because I had a major power cut here for the last couple of days. The power went out for... How long was the power out for? 5 days I was without power. I should have gotten this video and a couple of others out a bit sooner, but like I said, we had a massive power cut, so this is bringing back absolutely terrifying memories. We had a massive storm in Ireland. Let's do that. Now, you see, I know the size of the things that we're trying to put in here. Yeah, sure, we'll put the door there. It's probably not going to be the most effective, but we'll do that to start with. So all the things that we've connected up are causing a drain on power. So we need to get some power set up. We saw some stairs has gone up, and there it is, brings down some food. So we have these 3 builders at the moment, and I can hire more for 5,000 each. I think we're a-okay at the moment, and we can also upgrade them. Once we get a research station up and running, we can upgrade them to knock through these walls and to do a couple of other things. Now I'm going to wait for these guys to finish, but we can see a flashing light down here indicating that our recruitment campaign has ended. So we can see here that a power plant is going to cost, if I put it there, it's going to start knocking off, as it's built, it's going to start knocking off 500 for each tile that I put up. And we might as well start putting in a few of these. So these are small fusion generators. They cost 1,000 each and provide 100 energy. And energy is a fairly large expense in terms of needing to continuously provide energy. There we go, the lights are back on. And now we can start to take a look at our scientists. We've actually gotten our budget. So for 11 months, the committee who operate the Exogate, they're going to pay us 50,000 a month for 11 more months. After that, however, we're going to be dependent on patents and the sale of materials. Now, we're told that next month, scientist is going to be a very unpopular job, which means that we're going to get less recruits if we run a recruiting campaign. And here is what is hot and not in terms of patents for the next month. So once we create a patent, the value of that patent is going to decrease month on month. Now, sometimes it might get a bit of a jump if people decide that they have suddenly gotten more interested in textile sources. It might get a bit of a jump. In general, it's just going to go down and down and down. Here are our scientists. And we have a number of different stats across the bottom. So their body, max health and fatigue, their mind strength, their perception, social, knowledge, and logic. So these are the 2 that are going to be important for our scientists. We could also look at getting some social. So here is the best candidate we have so far. We actually have some solid candidates we will hire. So this will give us a full team. So we can have 3 people to a team. I have 4 hired. We'll need to kind of start ramping up fairly quickly. So what we can do is create a team. And we have a lot of different stuff that we can do for these teams. So we can pick our symbol. There's a ton of symbols. Pick the team color. We will call them, this is going to be our science team. Science team? I think I got that right. And we can send in. I don't think it makes much of a difference at the moment. Drop them all in there. So they're all on the exact same level, same health, and same mental health. So we have that team. And they haven't even gotten down the stairs. I'm going to begin the process of sending them through the gate. So straight off the bat, they're going to get to work. So here is our Exogate. There are factions in this game, so we can come across other factions. At the moment, we don't really know a huge amount about the other areas here. So we're being told that the recommended level is 1. So there's 2. There's 2 as well. So that would be their kind of experience level. So they all cost the same amount of energy to lock onto at the moment. Low. So it's going to cost 20 of our 390. We'll connect. We will create a mission. And we will send the science team. And start the science team's mission. So we're told that there's a 0% chance of injury. A 100% injury severity. And the first thing that happens is the science team gathers before the gate to the Exogate. We get some dramatic music. The lights in the entire base go down. the Exogate opens up. And the first of our brave scientists begin to march through. So we now have a bit of a countdown. 6 days remaining. Oh, poor Amy Smith, all on their lonesome. While they are on their lonesome, we can stick in a research desk. Now, they won't be able to use this immediately because, you can see it down here, no Gaither has a required level to use a research desk. So, to use this, the person needs to actually be at level 2. And I think, is it Amy is the only person wandering around, Amy Smith, because they are just freshly off the ship. They are a level 1, so they can just kind of wander around aimlessly for now. I think that's pretty much as we can do to start off. Everything else is grayed out because we don't actually have access to them at the moment. So what we need to do is we need to get somebody up to level 2, and we need to get some science going, some research. And here we go. Science team has returned from low 392, and they have brought back some samples. So these are plant samples. They've gotten a small chunk of XP. Nina came back with nothing. I'd love if you could customize the poses, kind of like in Deep Rock Galactic. If they could be juggling the canister with the biosamples in it. Or if they were doing finger guns and stuff like that. That's what I want to see. That's what's really going to make this game impressive. So they've done one mission each. And they've gained some XP. And we have a few of them with a note over their head saying that they're delivering canisters. Excuse me. So there is a donut mushroom. A mushroom that is also a donut. And David has just thrown that in there and has started doing science on it straight away. Because he's doing science, we're getting some science points. And the other sample has been put in here. So what we could do is we could take David off. He's actually finished. David has studied the biosample, and we have a new common patent theory for medical treatment. And he's off. Looking at the next one, and we have a new common patent theory for heat resistance. So here's our research screen. Here's what we have access to so far. Now, none of them are kind of golden outlined, which means that there's actually a tremendous amount of stuff left to study. So for the laboratory, we have 6 out of 11 things. For the mess hall, we have 5 out of 6. And then we can go on and we can get a recreation room, a library, an armory, exosuit upgrades, which are needed for some advanced planets. So we're going to start onto this now shortly. But up here we have patents. Now, if I click this, we can actually see the facility, or the form, I suppose is maybe the way to put it. So, medical treatment. We have one common theory. There are uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary. And we can use 5 of these to write a patent. So the more of them that we use, the more money the patent will be worth to us. And the higher value of the theories that we use, the more the patent will be worth to us. And we're also told that heat resistance, at the moment, there is a low demand for scientific topics on heat resistance this month. That's all pretty much a lottery. It's not something that we can really control. So it's just, yep, see what shows up. And indeed, because David did some science there, he's actually increased in his XP over anybody else that was on that mission. I'm going to... Nina has the lowest level of experience gain, so I'm going to remove her from the team and add Amy. And I'm going to send that team out again in a second. David has been appointed as the commander of the mission because he was pretty much the first person that I assigned. I'm not too sure if you can actually reassign the commander. Quite often, if you want to do that, you have to kind of just start awkwardly removing people from the whole thing. David's getting a bite to eat. Fair play to him. He's got an empty whiteboard in front of him to watch while he's doing that. So they're going to take care of their needs. Nina is using the locker. And pretty much the early beginning stage of this whole thing is going to be rinse and repeat. Now, we've done an initial survey of this planet of low 392. It's been explored. It has low scientific potential. We can claim the system. We can set up a scientific expedition. This is a repeat expedition that will continue to go out multiple times until it has used up all scientific potential. Now, at the moment, we don't have the ability to do that. That's something that must be unlocked with the operations room, and we need to actually build a specific item which will allow us to do that. I will claim the building. So we have influence, 203 out of a max, I think, of 1,000, and we use that influence to claim systems. So by claiming this, we can now push out to HTO36 if we want to. We will instead go in this direction. Again, we will connect, which is going to put more of a drain on our energy supply, create a mission, and we will send out the science team. David, very bravely, as the commander, letting the two women go before him, just in case something goes wrong. Good job, David. It was another straightforward mission. The science team have returned with 3 samples and no injuries. And we're now up to 74 science points, so we got some science from that mission. And these science points are used to unlock. So this is 600 points, this is 400 points. So that will basically assign it to a research table, and then somebody will need to come along and start researching. Now, with the patent writing facility, we can actually appoint people to it. We can't here, so anybody that can use it will show up. What I would like is if we could have had David do the research here that Nina is doing, because then David would level up to level 2 and could start using the research facility. But it's kind of random as to who shows up and actually does this analysis. We have an uncommon patent for food source and for regeneration. Good job, Nina. Back on the star map, we can now claim the system that we just visited, and that gives us access to one that will give increased XP. So it's not going to give very much in the line of science, but it will give us XP, and that could be useful if we wanted to level some people up. The recommended level is 2. Do you know what? I'm going to connect to this one. Now it also shows us what's out beyond that. We have 2 science related, and we have one that has material. Now we'll need an engineer to go out and unlock that. That's going to take a while, but I'm going to create a mission. It's medium, because we don't actually have anyone at level 2 at the moment. And we'll send them right back out and hopefully get somebody leveled up to level 2. Just as that mission gets underway, we get our first full monthly budget summary. This is the first month that we have expenses, 20,700 on salaries. The committee is paying us 50,000 for another 10 months. Medical treatment as a patent topic is popular. Regeneration has gone down. No jobs this month will suffer any positive or negative boosts. What I'm going to start to do is we'll start to expand in preparation for some more workers. And actually, the bit of an issue that we have is that our miners can't actually reach there. So what I'm going to do is maybe, because I'll probably end up going in this direction anyway. And as they work away at that, we can see in the top left-hand corner that the science team's mission is going on for an hour remaining. We could have ended up getting a kind of a pop-up. They might have found some event on the planet, but instead they have leveled up. When they level up, they're going to gain 1 point in the trait that they most used since their last level. So there's ways around potentially getting them to level up in something other than, we'll say, knowledge and logic, which is predominantly what our scientists are going to use. Now, as you can see, they have brought back a bit of influence, not very much science, no samples. But we now have 3 people on level 2. So we've just finished our expansion to the bedrooms, 4 new beds, which means we can go on a new recruitment campaign. So we're seeing there's a bit of a drop. We're down to 4. Will we let it run for an extra day? We'll start that. So we're getting 6 days. We're hopefully getting about 6 scientists. So when you do a recruiting campaign, I think it lasts until the end of the month. So you have until the end of the current month to unlock or to hire any additional people from that recruitment drive. We can see here that there is a slight deterioration in Amy Smith's mental health. So that can be helped by the recreation room. It can be helped by sleeping in better facilities. There's a couple of things that we can do to improve that. Not really at the moment, however. We need to get more scientists and get more research done. Now, even though we have a level 2 researcher and somebody who can actually use the research bench, we don't have the science points. So we're going to head for a recommended level 2 sector, VJ199. I leave the level 1s, there aren't many left, but I leave this one for the new science team that I am recruiting. So we will connect, we will create our mission, and we will send out the science team. I've removed, I think it was Amy, and brought Nina back into the team. Now we can see at the top that Nina is actually doing something at the moment, and so is David. So David is part of that team, but he's going to sleep, so they're actually going to take care of their needs before starting that mission. So if they need food and if they need sleep, they're going to do that first of all before they all bunch up here at the front of the door to the Exogate. And as they go off, we are told that we have 7 recruits. My god, look at that for a head of hair. We're hiring this man, I don't care about anything else. Don't care about his competency. Again, facial hair like that, we can't turn these people down. We can't turn these people down. Here's somebody that's actually competent at their job, we'd better hire them as well. And Emily, considering fairly solid logic. So that's a hefty bunch of recruits that we now have. We'd better create a team. I will call them the Blue Mondays. And who are we going to put in here? Emily has actual experience and ability, and then we'll put the other 2 in there for the tremendous facial hair. So there is the Blue Mondays. And as this mission is actually just about to start, I can send them off, create a mission, and select our new team. And I was just inspecting our power facility when we get a message from the Blue Mondays team. XO, we found a giant mushroom. Bring it back. Bring it back to me. Please describe it to me in detail. Because they're scientists, or because we have a scientist on the team, have we anything similar on record? Or we can ask, can you make out anything else? So that would use their perception skill. And we can see here that it's not great. Now that's their logic. The kind of the jigsaw shape. I think the perception is the arrow to the head. So their perception isn't great. Have we anything similar on record? It's a 55% chance as well. There are continent-spanning fungal colonies on Earth, but none as immense as this. It's one huge mushroom. Oh boys, the amount of soup we're going to get out of this. Cap and all, estimated height is a couple of clicks. It's swaying gently and singing to us. Take a sample. I want an analysis. Stat. Best left alone. No. A sample. Roger that. I await your report. So they're closer to the mushroom now. The singing is noticeably louder. Everything's becoming more majestic. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Well, keep me informed about the majestic singing mushrooms. So you can get little challenges like that pop up from time to time. I had one in the tutorial that killed 2 members of the team. So yeah, these people can die if things go wrong, and things can go badly wrong. Science team has come back with 3 samples. Fantastic job. So they'll start into those. Now, Blue Monday had a countdown. That countdown has run up, and instead of them returning, they have an update on His Majesty. His Majesty? Yes, His Majesty the Mushroom King. His Highness, His Mightiness. He's just so majestic. So incredibly majestic. Is everything okay over there? So this would be mind strength, which is a 1. That's not gonna go great. This was maybe not the best team to send out there. Yeah, they were mostly sent out for their amazing hairstyles. Did you get a sample? Oh. This lad's come on. Thanks to His Majesty. It smells so good to be close to him. I think you need to move away from His Majesty. I don't like what I'm hearing, team. Wrap this up. Are we going to lose the entire team? Are they just going to stay there and be eaten by His Majesty? Wrap this up. No, please, just a little bit more. Such majestic discoveries await us. I want you to move away and continue the mission. Do you understand me? Of course, we will obey. We shall obey with complete fealty. So they're going to be coming back with some mushrooms. Some majestic mushrooms. Or maybe not. When we took the sample from His Majesty, it broke the hold. Thank Christ. That thing had infected us. Spores, more likely. We wanted to become one with it. Ew. So they'll complete the rest of the mission. Yes, let's. See you when you get back. And stay away from giant mushrooms. That's good advice in life in general. Not just for this game. That's pretty good advice in life. We now have a pretty substantial chunk of scientists. So we have 2 full teams and then 2 randomers just hanging around. We're going to need some medics, we're going to need some soldiers, we're going to need lots of other things. So it's beginning to put a hefty expense on the entire place. We have some samples, including a majestic mushroom sample. Where is Rodrigo? Rodrigo has the mushroom sample. Oh, he's just put it straight in, has he? Or there it is. Maybe that's the mushroom. Who knows? Anyway. Things are going to start getting expensive. So we will stick in a patent writing console and hope that we got some good patents to generate some money for us. I'm going to wait until we have a rare patent for energy sources. I'm going to wait for them to finish these items. And then we'll take a look at what kind of patents we can write. So there you go. We're getting 50 grand from the committee and 41,000 in salaries. So we're not making a huge amount. Regeneration has gone down. Nobody wants to be a scientist. Medical treatments have gone up. We have 1 patent for medical treatment. So we don't have a huge amount at the moment. We can see here that the robot just came in and started showering one of the items. So we can see that they do need to be repaired from time to time. So they have a kind of a status which will decrease, and those little robot dudes need to go around and clean them up. We're sending the science team out to see if they can get any more resources to bring back. We're going to finish researching these 2 items. And we actually get a message from science team. We've encountered a forested area on WB 004, which is remarkable in itself, but there's something else. Animals! They're hopping all over the place like rabbits. So what we've been picking up so far is plant samples. Mushrooms, giant, majestic mushrooms. We can bring back, effectively, living samples or animal samples as well, but we need to do a chunk of research to actually get that up and running, first of all. So alien life, describe them. Stay back and observe. So this would use their perception, which again is not great, or their body, which again is absolutely terrible. Describe them. So small, mossy, prominent antennae. No visible eyes, though. Stay back and observe. So they have failed that test. Too hard to follow. They're bouncing all over the place. Not sure what else we can do. Get closer and observe. Now, the first thing is that we have 200 science points from all the science that we have been doing. Now, I don't think we actually do. We're in a position to unlock specimen study. So enables the study of discovered specimen of fauna. So this will give us it requires the biosample study. So we'll enact that. So that has been sent to the research station, and people will come here to this research station, and we could build multiple research desks to speed up the process. The other thing is, let's see if we have any patents that we can write. So we have 3 for heat resistance. So that's what I'm actually gonna do. So we could potentially have 5 theories, and these are theories that have been unlocked by examining majestic mushrooms, basically. So it'll take 3.5 days. It will give us a common quality patent, and the overall monthly revenue will be somewhere between 4,917 to 9,834, and I think then there's a bit of a percentage on that. So this is what we're looking at. So I'll start writing that, and we must assign somebody. I'm unsure if there's a trait which best suits them, but we'll stick in a smith, and they will get to work on writing that. So here comes Amy. And in she goes to her big fancy chair. Boys, oh boys, look at that for television screens. So we're told that they're not animals, they're just mobile plants. You divil. So 40% chance to score. What does their behavior tell you about their origin? We'll risk it, and we succeed. So because we succeed, they gain some XP. Had they failed, probably not in this case, but some failures can lead to injury, and as I discovered, death. So maybe you could take one with you? We try to chase them down, but they're too fast. No dice. So they're awaiting instructions, continue exploring, and most likely they will return home. So here's the thing that I've been fearing and commenting all along. There you go. The 2 of them have run out, so I'm not too sure how that's entirely possible. So we have a lot of people now very unhappy because we've run completely out of food. Maybe I need to put another one in because we have so many people now. Science team returns. They have a ton of samples. They have a ton of XP. We have somebody up to level 3. David has completed 5 missions. There's an achievement for completing 75 missions. So that's going to take a bit of time and a bit of work, hopefully. Amy has just gotten up from writing a patent to go and work on the research desk. Well done, Amy. Thanks very much. We'll begin the process, the slow, painful process of expanding this region in preparation for somebody doing enough science, enough research to get the actual living fauna research stations. So we can see they've finished off this area and they've left this unplastered because they don't actually have the technology for that. So we're extending the laboratory. Now, I was giving out to Amy a couple of minutes ago for not finishing off work on the patent. From what I can understand, she has actually finished that patent on heat resistance, and it is expected to bring in $5,910 in the coming month. And if we had more patents, they'd be bringing in more and more and more money. So I think for now, it's covering somebody's monthly salary. It is the end of the month. 50,000 from the committee for another 8 months. Patents have brought in 5,910. 41,000 went out. Here is our profits. Textile sources are going down, food sources going up, but we're also told that specimen study has been researched. So what we can now do is build these very large specimen containment containers. And scroll down. And these tiny desks for looking at the giant things that go in here. So I'm surprised that it's much smaller than this desk. Like, the containers are huge, and you're actually going to see we're trapping Ivy in there. You're going to see if anybody comes back with an item. We're not going to be lucky enough, I'd say, until the next mission. So I'll get the science team back out. We're being told, so I actually visited 2 areas there simultaneously, and we do not have the influence to connect up to either one and keep pushing out. Now that would be to claim the region, and there are rival factions which will also claim regions, and we can fight with them physically or diplomatically for influence. Blue Mondays, go on, off you go. So this has been a look at the very early stages of Exogate Initiative. There's a tremendous amount to be done in the game yet. We haven't gotten any amount of research underway, realistically. I need to research the med bay. That would be the next thing. A recreation room, a training room. That would allow me to get soldiers, the med bay, obviously medics. They could be both sent on missions, or the medics could remain behind to heal people of injuries that they pick up on their missions. The soldiers can contribute body. So we saw some tasks there that needed body, and the soldiers could contribute that. They could gain skills or XP, so that they're more effective in defending the base in the event of an attack. The workshop is where we can get engineers from, and it will allow us to pick up materials in the various different systems that we go to, which we can then break down and sell. So in your playthroughs of this, there is a tremendous amount to do. However, I do wonder if it suffers maybe one of the criticisms that was directed at the recent Evil Genius 2, which is that once you've played it once, there isn't really much to come back to. So I would be interested to see about the replayability. Now, I did the tutorial, about 5 hours of the tutorial, and I'm pretty much rebuilding the base in the exact same way that I did when I played the tutorial. I've expanded this region a bit more, or I've been a bit tidier with my building here, with my constructing, but I've put the mess hall in the same place, the bedrooms in the same place, the laboratory in the same place. So considering it's going to be the same layout to the base over and over and over again, I do wonder about replayability, but so far I'm having tremendous fun with what is on offer, and there is, like I've said, a good chunk of research to go through. So the Blue Mondays have gone off on another mission to find majestic mushrooms. I'm going to be playing this over on Twitch, if you want to follow along and see what they find on their adventures. Tell me in the description what you think, or in the comments what you think about Exogate Initiative. Again, a big thank you to Xenobits for sending me on a copy to check out. And if you find any majestic mushrooms on your adventures, please tell me. Please.